Hello and welcome to the third ever edition of the Bean and Done podcast, or the Bad Poker podcast. So I'm Chris Bean, and along with me is Don Clementson.
Hello!
And joining us this week is Party Poker Team Pro, lawyer, podcaster, commentator, any other jobs, Natalie?
Charity organiser,
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah, you forgot the
a woman
charity.
who needs to take more time off. I think that's probably how that introduction should go.
Yeah. So what do you actually do in your spare time, Natalie?
Well, you know,
spare time.
I don't. I do. I like to fill my spare time with lots of things. So when I finish work, and I do I think my day job and the football are the two major things. But then, yeah, when I do have my spare time, that's when I do play poker and do the charity stuff on top of it. So that is probably genuinely my spare time. Too much.
So coming up this week, we'll be talking about the WSOP Europe and its move, and we'll be talking about the European Poker Tour, and of course, the main reason why we've got Natalie on here this week is it's the Party Poker Birmingham this week. So this is the fourth episode of this series. What can people expect, Natalie?
Oh, party poker, sorry. Carry on. I thought you were talking about us.
You Doyle. Right.
Well, judging by the intro, what we can expect from the episode is anything. Anything goes. Anything goes. Yes, leg 4 of the Party Poker Tour. The new and improved Party Poker Tour since they relaunched their live offering is this week. So far, we've had London, we've had Manchester, we've had Glasgow, and we are heading to Birmingham back at Resorts World, which is now offering poker again. I think you can expect big things from Birmingham. This is our 4th instalment this year, and every single leg gets better and bigger. And we listen to players and listen to, what recreational players want from their offering, what satellite structures they want, what experiences they want when they come to festivals, the time that they can put in to trying to qualify for these, what structures they like, what kind of games they want, and every single leg gets tweaked a little bit more. I think the two main things for this particular leg, it's the first one that we've done since we came back that's got a guaranteed prize pool on it. Up to now, it hasn't had that, so there's a guarantee on the main event, which is really fantastic news, and I'm sure they'll beat it. And the second one is an initiative which very much sits within the Party Poker brand of fairness to players and protection of players. And this is one of the reasons why it was an operator that I was quite comfortable signing on to, because these are values that I very much hold dear to myself as well, in that there are no hidden rake fees in this one. It's the first of its kind. They are every single penny of the prize pool, apart from the advertised fee to buy in, is going into the prize pool. There's nothing being taken out for overheads or contribution to dealers or contribution to any other overheads. So I think they're the main two things that you can expect to see from this tour. And on top of that, just a lot of fun.
Yeah, and seeing some previous videos, it looks like there's banter abound. There's Barry Carter winning his first live tournament in Edinburgh, in Glasgow, sorry. That was
excellent.
Yeah, it looked like a hell of a night. Can you tell us like any of the highlights from Barry's win?
Yeah, I think the London leg at Aspers was before the tour team was properly settled. So we were all still finding our feet a little bit, and it was a little bit trial and error just to see what we wanted to work. And Manchester was the first leg where we were all settled as a team. So that was our debut really, and we did a stream. So we were all getting to know each other really. By the time we went to Glasgow, the 6 ambassadors for the live Party Poker Tour, plus Jamie and Matt Staples, who are the online team pros for Party Poker themselves, we'd all been working together for 6 months. We'd got to know each other more. Now, most of us have been friends for a very long time anyway. I think there's only a couple of us who didn't know each other before we started this. Barry I've known for probably the best part of 15 years. And it was just a genuinely hilarious thing where it was a Friday, and I think 4 out of 6 of us had bagged up for day 2 of the main from the ambassador team. And we'd all gone upstairs, and we'd sort of had a quiet drink, and it was, we were all settled down to have an early night. We're going to be in bed for about 12:30, 1 o'clock, get well rested, eat breakfast, and get ready for day 2. And Glenn Brown, who's one of our ambassadors, who obviously everybody knows, he's all over the place at the moment. He came running upstairs to where we all were and said, final table of the Friday Madness tournament. We've got three on the. I think we had his wife, Jamie Staples' fiance, Rebecca, and Barry were all on the final table. Now this is just a Friday night silly late tournament. I think it's like 10 o'clock on the Friday night. The blinds are probably 15 minutes. It's a £60 tournament, whatever it was, or maybe £100 tournament. And Barry Carter played it like it was the World Series main event. And so we all, so the minute that he came up to see this, we were like, oh, okay, well, we're not going to bed, so let's all run downstairs. It was the most ridiculous rail that you've ever seen for a Friday night drunken turbo tournament. It was genuinely ridiculous. And I think the funny thing is that we were all really anti-railing him, because every time he won a pot, we were boo and laughing, because obviously we wanted the girls to win as well. And obviously we were there to try and help and to support the local players and obviously all of our qualifiers who were playing in the casino as well. And then he started to run. He had the chip lead for ages, and he started to run so badly that actually, I think somebody said at one time, I think we actually need to start properly railing you here, because I think we might have boxed you massively. And then, yeah, he did. I think Rebecca maybe came 3rd. I think Glenn's wife maybe came 4th. And then there was a couple of them heads up, and, we started to do it. And then we also had, who else was on the rail with us? Dave Lappin was on the rail with us, and Dara came over as well. I couldn't remember. I knew there was somebody else there, so they'd come over as well. So then we decided, because we're all big football fans, of all our football affinity, we decided to start doing football chants. And I think the funny thing with it, and I can't remember how it turned out, but I think halfway through the final table, Barry said to us that he'd taken his wife with him up to Glasgow, and she'd booked them on a walking tour of Glasgow at 10 a.m. on the Saturday morning. But she'd said to him, if it gets to 3 o'clock in the morning and you're not home, then you don't need to go. So we were all like, every time he lost a pot,
does that mean she's going to lock him out?
Yeah. Barry's on a walking tour. Barry's on a walking tour. And it was just, and he was just like, I hate you all. And obviously our bosses were there, and then everyone was filming it, and it was just a lot of it. And he ended up winning it, and we had a massive group. Honestly, it really genuinely was for a really cheap turbo tournament. We're all sat there with this massive 30-man rail, big photos and official press photos with Barry in his first trophy. And it was but I think that was a turning point, I think, in terms of the tour team and the ambassadors. That was the point where we nailed it. It was like, this is what we want to bring to this tour. This is what we want to do. We want people to have fun. We want people to enjoy. We want just people to enjoy. It's Friday night in Glasgow. No, Saturday. I think that was Saturday night, actually. It's Saturday night in Glasgow. Let's just have some fun, and let's just bring the enjoyment back to live poker. And yeah, I think that was very much. I think our bosses were pretty pleased with the way that all went down. I'm not sure the locals were too chuffed, but we enjoyed it anyway. It was fun. Well,
I'm looking forward to next week now. That's for sure.
That's something to live up to now, right? So you just need to final table one of the Madness tournaments, and you can have a massive rail of like 30 pros. We'll be singing, dancing, football chants, and everything. And yeah, you'll have a big press party. But yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So it's already got underway, hasn't it? The PartyPoker Tour of Birmingham.
Yes, it started. So this is quite a big one. And I think it's obviously it's coincided with the relaunch of bringing poker back to Resorts World in Birmingham and to the Birmingham scene generally. You know, there's a really big appetite for poker in Birmingham, and they've not had a particularly strong offering for a while now since the major poker rooms closed. So I think given they wanted to do the guarantee and they wanted to do some really headline principles with this tour, we started this weekend. So the main event has started this weekend, and it goes all the way through the week. Mini main it goes all the way through to next Wednesday, and there's quite a lot of really great off the felt activities as well. I think there is a slot tournament, which is a really interesting principle because I was in Vegas. Yeah, I was in Vegas last week, and I didn't know anything about what a slot tournament was, and I was with a group of friends in Vegas, and they were all playing this. I think it was a Tuesday we were there, and was like, well, we'll be downstairs at 11 for the slot tournament, and I was like, excuse me, what? And I genuinely sat in the corner of this room watching people going into these rooms for
100 people doing this.
Yes, exactly. And I'm like, what? And now maybe I've been like, considering that was my 18th, maybe 19th trip to Vegas, I've never seen this before. I've clearly been hanging out with the right people or the wrong people, read into that what you will. And then when I got back and I saw the press releases that were sent to us for all of that, and so there's a slot tournament which is going to be a lot of fun. I might try it this time rather than sitting looking generally confused at what's going on. We've got on Thursday lunchtime, we've got all of the PartyPoker team were streaming a sit and go with, I think there's a qualifier. We did this in Manchester. I think there's maybe two qualifiers from the mini main who win seats to play with us on a streamed sit and go, where there's prizes up for grabs. If they try and win, they can win a main event and sit in a mini event, and there's mystery prizes as well, some good, some bad. So all of us will be playing that, and that'll be streamed. And then there is something else which I can't remember. So there's a lot of others. Obviously, there's the players' parties as well, so that'll be really good. So yeah, I think it's going to be a big one, this one, and it will all lead up to seeing what we can do for the grand final, which will be released soon. I know details of the grand final, and I can't say, like, listen, I've said this. I have said this to my bosses.
It's an exclusive. We've never had one of them.
No, I can't listen. People keep giving me secrets, and I can't keep secrets. And I'm like, please stop giving me secrets. So I've even put it in my phone as I've got the dates, and I've got PartyPoker grand final super secret location, because I'm so scared that I'm going to put it in there and just casually show somebody my phone and they'll be like, oh, that's where it is. So it's like, I've got this really weird type. I'm a terrible ambassador. I've got secrets that I can't keep, and I'm like, and then also I don't have any of the really useful practical information. So players ask me questions, I'm like, I don't know. I can find out. So yeah, I'm like, I'm not a very good at that. Maybe by next year.
There's a long and storied history of bad ambassadors in poker. I think you're safe.
yeah, I'm not planning on doing it. Like, listen, I work hard and I do like to do it, but yeah, generally speaking, I think if my bosses could say, just don't give me information that is a secret, because I can't keep secrets. And actually, if you could maybe give me some information that would be useful, then I'll be able to give players that. So yeah, that'd be good. But yeah, it's going to be good. I'm really looking for, and there seems to be, I've heard more and more of my friends and more people saying to me that they're coming to this one, whereas obviously Glasgow was predominantly our Scottish market for obvious reasons, and Manchester was a relatively small field. Well, after the numbers were great, but not everybody from down south is going to come up there, whereas for obvious reasons, the Midlands is really right in the middle of the country, so the catchment area is a couple of hours away for so many people. It seems like a lot of people are going to be there.
Yeah, living in Wales, I certainly feel that myself. It's going to be much easier for me to get to Birmingham than it is to Glasgow.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. And it's 2 hours from everybody, so I can't wait. I can't, because of work commitments, I can't get there till Wednesday. And I'm itching, so I'm already seeing at the post, and I'm like, but I think I think Glenn's there already for us on the team. Glenn and Jamie are both there already, and then the rest of us land on Wednesday. So yeah, the troops will land on Wednesday. The cavalry will arrive, and we'll start the chaos.
Yes, and is it Thursday that the main event starts? Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I've literally just said to you that I don't have any information that's useful, and you come straight to with a question.
I've just
on the spot going.
Yeah, I've just stuck the schedule up. So yeah, we got the day 3 of the mini main event on Thursday, and then we've got the Big O PLO Masters also on the Thursday.
Yes.
Day 1B of the main event starts on Friday, and there's a couple of more PLO events then as well, and there's also the Barry Carter shit show tournament on the Friday night. So
listen, he's got a title to defend. He's got a title to defend, and expect us all to do it. It genuinely is the silliest of tournaments that you've ever seen, but it's genuinely a lot of fun.
Definitely in for that then. I was wondering what to play, but I'm probably going to play the PLO8. Big O. It's Big O, isn't it?
Big O, yeah.
I'm definitely going to have a go at the Tennessee Hold'em, which I think we're going to come on to in a bit, Chris.
Yeah.
And that sounds like the I think I'll allow myself 3 tournaments because we are supposed to be doing a bit of work as well, aren't we? So that'll be my third one, I think. The Barry Carter bullshit tournament.
Stay away from me. I'll be a terrible influence. I will make them work. We're like, come and have a drink. Come and have some pizza.
Yeah. So
what about you, Chris? Have you got? Oh, go on.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I was going to say about the Tennessee Hold'em. It's a game I'm planning to play, but have you played it any of the previous stops, Natalie? Any idea how it works?
No, please. I'm going to also put that in a category of useful information that I don't have. I've had, and this sounds horrendously thin, but in all of the legs that I've played so far, I've managed to run relatively well in the main event. And I haven't then had I've always been busy and playing or doing something when those tournaments have been on. So I haven't yet had the pleasure, but I will if I will play that on if I'm there in Birmingham. I don't know how to play it. I have no idea. I've heard some people saying it's really, really complicated. Some people saying it's super, super easy. So I will probably fall into the former category of going.
Well, Dom,
I think it. Go on.
Dom thinks he's got wrapped up a little bit. So go on, Dom. Take away. Explain how to play Tennessee Hold'em.
This is going to come back and kick me in the arse, isn't it? I can feel it already. Yeah, I did a bit of research on it. It's quite strange because, seemingly, unlike most kind of forms of poker that we're familiar with, it's not kind of grown up. This game, kind of in back rooms and whatnot, and home games. This has been designed by someone. It's a game that was very much specifically designed by someone, and it's been patented. And I don't know how that works for him. I don't know if he sells that to poker tours or whether there's, he can't stop people playing it in their homes and in pubs, I guess. But I don't know if there's licenses to, promote this or whatever. But I thought it was just a strange thing that this is a brand new form of poker that one person's invented, and it has a patent on it, which I thought was quite interesting. I looked him up. I've forgotten his name now. He's a very interesting guy. But basically, I think the easiest way to explain it is very like when you look at kind of the tutorials online and stuff. It looks really, really complex, but I think if you break it down into its constituent parts, and what I think he's tried to do is he's tried to combine aspects of community card games, Hold'em and Omaha, draw games and stud games. So by the end, when you get to the river, all the players that are still in have 7 cards and have to choose their best 5 cards out of those 7. But you have the launch instead of the flop, which is 2 cards. And if you stay in after that, you then get 3 other cards face down, right? And then you get to discard them, which is like the draw aspect of the game. And you can discard 0, 1, or 2. If you discard 1, then you don't get to see the river, or you don't get to play the river. And if you discard 2, you don't get to play the turn or the river. So everyone ends up with 7 cards that they can play, 4 of which are community cards, but which some people can play and some people can't. I don't think I did too bad a job of describing that.
So it's like a kind.
Yeah, I mean, put it under the complex category feels
I think,
legitimate.
I think it's one of those that once you're playing it, it probably becomes a lot easier than it sounds. But yeah, so I think that was his aim when he started designing this game, was that he wanted to make it a mix of like the best parts of draw, the best parts of stud, and the best parts of community card game. It's got a bit of all three in. I'm going to be useless at it because I'm terrible at stud because I cannot remember what anyone has thrown away. Oh, that's the other thing. When you discard, if you elect to discard, you have to discard face up.
All right.
So that's kind of another stud element of the game, is people can see what cards you've had as well. So.
Yeah. Well, the guy who's invented it has been in a couple of our legs. He was at Manchester and he was at Glasgow as well. And he is yes, a very interesting character. And he is super, super passionate about this game that he has created. So I think most people who've had an opportunity to speak to him or be taught and have him on their table have sort of got on that train with him and got very carried away and got very excited by what he wanted to offer. So yeah, listen, why not? You know, I think I can barely manage with 2 cards. I'm not a mixed game specialist, so I'm not in any immediate rush to learn any new variant. Speaking of new variants, I've still not learned how to play ladies tournaments yet because they are a breed of their own in terms of variants. I'm an awful PLO player. I'm trying to learn it. But I'm being taught. I've been set deadlines of by the APAC World Championship next year. I need to be cashing in mixed game things, and I just keep staring at cards and going, I've got too many cards in my hand. I don't know what to do. So yeah, I'm going to sit there and be a team player next week and try and play it, but I will be terrible. So if you get on my table, you're welcome to my chips.
I think the good thing about it is you might not have a clue what you're doing, but nor has anyone else. So at least it's a level playing field.
That's true. You know, silver cloud, silver lining.
Silver lining.
Whatever that expression is.
Yeah, you mentioned earlier, Natalie, that you final tabled one of the party poker events, and you also had a final table at the Irish Open and the Liam Flood Memorial Tournament.
Yes.
So it's been quite a stellar year for you. Are you hoping to get a trophy by the end of it?
That would be very, very nice. I have had a good year. I final table. I've started off I play a tournament in a ski resort in Austria every January. So I final tabled a side event in that. Then obviously I had the Irish cash as well, and then obviously party poker going well. I had a terrible World Series in Vegas. That went terribly, to the point where I think a couple of days before I came home, I just gave up and just stayed out with friends and did touristy drunken things instead, and just was a Vegas tourist for the last 2 days because I quit poker. It's terrible. Where else have I been? I've just come back from Ireland as well, but that was for a Hearts of Queens event. So I feel like I'm playing very well. I came third as well in the shootout at APAT. So yeah, there's been some decent. I feel like I'm playing consistently well, and I'm surrounded, fortunately, by some really strong players who I'm close to, who I've been very lucky to be able to observe their play quite close up, and just seeing little things that people do that I've recognised leaks in my own game, and just adopting little tweaks from different people, rather than I don't mirror myself as a player on one individual style. So if I have been coached previously in the past, it wasn't great for me. I couldn't really get my head around it. So I'm not the kind of player who would sit down with one particular coach and adopt a style and do that. My brain works in a way that I like to absorb elements and bits off lots of different people and put it together and do it my own individual style. And I feel like this year, the bits that I have taken from other people have really helped my play. A trophy is always very, very nice, but I think there is a lot to be said about consistency of cashes and consistency of play.
It's underrated.
Listen, I think as well as a sports fan, if you're a poker player and a sports fan, as I am, a big sports fan, it's very difficult to take your mind off going for gold, because that's the thing. You're born winners, and you're born trying to chase that title, whether it be promotion or a cup win, or if we're talking in sporting terms, Or, you know, you can, the silly thing is that you can get to be a poker player and come second in a tournament. You could come second in a bracelet event, and there's an element of disappointment. It's such a unique and bizarre, I suppose I liken it to Olympics for that. You know, Olympians go for gold, you know, silver isn't always what they went for. So yes, a trophy would be spectacular. There are a couple of trophies that I would love to get my hands on. And I will tell you, and weirdly, considering that I don't know how to play them, I'm really terrible at them. There are 3 women's trophies that I would love to get. I've got a W Coupe women's trophy, which I love. And I didn't realise for an online tournament you actually get a proper trophy, which was very exciting. I would love the Irish Open, ladies. That's a very, very hotly sought after trophy. That tournament has gathered a lot of steam over the years, and most of the really top women play it because it's a title we all want. I
covered this year's one. It was absolutely fantastic.
It is.
The final table was the final table was brutal.
And I think that, like, Ireland has just unlimited resources of phenomenal female players. Like, the Irish women have been, like, they play a lot more than the British, so the English women do, because, and English, Welsh, Scottish women do, because it's such an ingrained game within Irish culture. They play at home with their families. They've been playing since they were 5, 6, and they've been going to casinos and playing in poker rooms since they were 21 years of age, since they could. Whereas it's a little bit more stigma where we are, or it's maybe not as accessible or as popular where we are. So they have got fantastic female players, and then the British players have caught up to them, and we're going across there trying to, and it's just, and we've now built up a really strong network with the Irish female poker players, and we go across to them, they come to us all the time. We've formed some really strong friendships there, so the competitive element, but the level of respect is phenomenal. So that would be one I would want. Obviously, the World Series bracelet, female one, to be the women's world champion would be incredible. And I would love to get my hands on an EPT ladies trophy. I came 3rd in the ladies grand final in Monaco a few years ago now. And I was one of those, it could have gone either way. I think that it wasn't a great structure back then. So I think by the time there was 3 of us left, I think we all had 8 big blinds. And it just became whoever's cards held won the title, and I ended up coming 3rd. So yeah, I don't know what else I mean, obviously a party poker main event would be to come so close in Manchester, and we've already had a female champion. Our Glasgow champion was female, which is fantastic. So that, you know, going to open events to get a trophy from one of my own tours would just be a really fantastic thing to achieve. I've got 2 more attempts of that before we get to the end of the year. But I think the only other things I'm playing live before the end of the year, I'm playing the APAT Squads event, which I've got a bronze medal from 2 years ago for that. That would be great to win. This year we are entering the Party Poker team are playing squads this year. Cool. So Hearts of Queens is having a year off this year for various reasons. We've had quite a busy year, and we have a few things to catch up on. So whilst we'll still be launching the Christmas appeal there and selling raffle tickets, we won't have a Hearts of Queens team squad. So it's not teams January, the squad event. So Lee Wiltshire spoke to me when we were at the World and wondered whether the Party Poker ambassadors would like to join us, and they were a yes. So there's myself, Sam, Barry Carter, and Asif all joining the squads.
It's a very strong team, that.
We're going to come on and force and try it. Well, I think if Asif can't play, because Asif's still trying to win an EPT Prague package. So if he does get one, I think we're going to try and get Joe Beavers to come along, or Jamie Staples. So they're our reserves behind Asif. So that will be quite a strong team. Decent, you know, the bench is strong. And I think that's all and obviously there's the grand final for Party before the end of the year as well, which will be in 2025. It will be between now and Christmas. I think I'm allowed to tell you that. I'm not allowed to tell you when or where it is.
We can edit it out later if you weren't supposed to say it.
No, it's fine. So one of those. So it will be, if I'm going to cap off 2025 with a trophy, it will either be a Party Poker trophy or an APAT gold medal. that's where that will be.
But you mentioned WSOP just then, and the World Series of Poker Europe has recently announced that it's moving to Prague in April, and going to be coinciding the same week as the Irish Poker Open, which I'm not too sure about. But
that's a bad clash, in my opinion.
Yeah,
it's a bad decision to put it. I mean, I can't see. I mean, obviously, if you live near Prague, maybe you're going to, but I can't see many people dropping everything to go to the EPT.
They will lose spectacularly to the Irish Open in terms of
I said EPT. Players. I meant WSOP.
Yeah, WSOP. Yeah, we got you. Don't worry. Yeah, I mean it'll get the regulars will go, and people across particularly across Eastern Europe will go, and most of Europe. But in terms of British and Irish players, I just cannot see anybody choosing that over the Irish Open, because the Irish Open is such a spectacular festival, and
I think a lot of the Eastern Europeans will come to Ireland because they love it there. They absolutely love it there. That just seems like a bizarre scheduling choice to me. I don't know what they're trying to do there.
There's too much poker at the moment. This is the problem, and it's really great that. It's really great that there is so much choice now. It's a double-edged sword, because it's great that there is choice for us, but it's also great that that also brings with. Oh, I've just bust the ladies. Hang on. Speaking of annoying ladies, so
I'd forgotten you said you were playing. Even that's how well you've been.
I've just been like stealthily in the beginning. That was my last one. I'd already busted a couple of satellites while I was talking as well. So when you read back on this and you start listening to a couple of that's where I was like playing a hand. I was like, do I shove you? Do I fall? And I'm trying to like not make it look like I'm playing. I'm like, sorry, where was I? Yeah, I've told the story. Where? I forgot what were we talking about?
WSOP Europe.
WSOP, yes. So no, we'd move on from that. What was I saying? Instead of just
we're talking about the Irish Open, and then
I can't remember what I got on to.
I said it was a bad scheduling decision. Oh, you were saying there's too much poker.
Yeah.
We got there. We got there.
You've got a team. You've got my full focus now. So I think it's a double-edged sword, because as a recreational player, you want choice, and competition between poker operators is a good thing, because that's when you start getting better deals on rake, and you start getting better scheduling and more incentives to players and better satellites, because they want to incentivize you to go to their tours. But when you then have a clash where you want to play both of them, that can be trouble. Now, Irish Open and Prague, for me, WSOP, the Circuit Europe, WSOPE in Prague, that's not a clash for me, taking aside for the fact that I love the Irish Open, because Prague for me is a winter city. I like the EPT Prague at Christmas, with the Christmas markets and the cold, and going into the little what they called cathedrals, and having like the string quartets to candle music and things like that, and hot chocolates. And so Prague in April, probably, I think I would rather go other places in April, somewhere warm and sunny, rather than the cold.
There seems to be a lot of this at the moment with the operators and their live events, and they're trying to kind of, I don't know if they're just trying to outmaneuver each other, but it seems to me like they're shooting themselves in the foot, because have it a week later and then you'd get the people from the Irish Open. I don't know whether because you've got the WSOP and the WPT with their winter festivals that are kind of large. Certainly the first year that the WPT, I think, ran theirs, it was they were exactly the same time, and I could see why they've done it, but they're harming each other, and it doesn't. There are enough weeks in the year to stagger them. It doesn't seem to make a lot of sense to me.
Are there enough weeks in the year? I just wonder, like, considering just how much there is around it. I guess if you look at like, when else would they do it? Because if you look at the EPT schedule. If
I was scheduling a WSOPE for next year, the first week I would not choose would be the week that the Irish Open's on.
Yeah, that seems a strange choice, but I guess just generally speaking, if we're talking about poker operators generally and trying to avoid clashes with each other, it is a heavily congested, heavily congested calendar now.
But that looks like it's deliberate. I mean, that looks like it's been done deliberately. The first thing you would do is look at the calendar and go, "Oh, the Irish Open's on then," and and then they've obviously then taken the decision to say, well, we'll do that and try and take some of their their field, and
which is not going to work. It's just not.
I don't think
so. So
yeah,
as the WSOP Europe, has it been an attractive proposition for you the last few years while it's been at Rosvedov, or was it something that you'd consider going to?
I've never been to Rosvedov. I can never pronounce it. Rosvedov, is that right?
Rosvedov.
Rosvedov, thank you. Like I was, too many K's.
That's the main reason they've moved it, is because no one can pronounce it.
Nobody can pronounce it.
Everyone can say Prague.
Exactly. So I've never been there. It's just, it's very, very difficult to get to, and I've never had the time in my schedule to be able to go out and play something. It's definitely on my schedule it's on my intention to go as soon as possible. I've just never had to date the opportunity to go at a proper festival where I can go and get it all done. I have played one WSOPE festival. This is one of my favourite poker stories. I think it must be 2006, 2007, maybe a little bit later. I was in Vegas for the summer, and I was playing a tournament in the Win, I think I was, and I got drawn with a German guy on my right, and it was the year before, a couple of years before Brexit, I think it was, when we were building up to it, and we got talking and we were chatting away about a few things, and we got on really, really, really well, and just had a great time playing. We stayed on the same table all day. The very next day, we were playing at a Venetian tournament, and we got drawn, not next to each other, we got drawn on the same table again. This is random German guy. So we were like, oh, well, okay, well, this is fate, we were supposed to meet. So we exchanged numbers, and that's now ended up being the basis of a 10, 12-year friendship, where they've come to, like, we've been to Vegas, I think, together 5 or 6 times. I've been over to Germany, they've been over to London, and it was, when I first went, it was when the WSOPE was in Berlin, at the Spiel something or other, and I'd never played one before, and we went out there they're from Berlin, so we went there to play it, and it was it was a great experience. It wasn't as it wasn't as exclusive. I don't know if exclusive is the right word, but given like how big the WSOP is, I don't know if I was maybe I'd built up in my head that it would be something along the same lines, whereas it wasn't dissimilar to the festivals that we have in the UK. But to be able to go and play a big brand tournament in another European city was a very good thing to do. So, and they don't have live poker anymore in Germany, so certainly not in Berlin. So it was quite nice to be able to see that. And it was a good experience. So, but it's the WSOPE is not a circuit that I seek out to go, and unless they're going somewhere where I've never been before. So let's say they were going to a city like I've never been to, I don't know, Iceland or somewhere, and I'm going to go there, and it's an opportunity to travel as well. I wouldn't necessarily, it's not a tour I would necessarily seek out, I don't think. So that feels a bit negative, unfortunately. No offence, WSOPE, but it's an oversubscribed market.
Oh, they've got very thick skins, the WSOP, haven't they?
I don't think they will shed many tears that Natalie Bromley from East Lancashire in the UK has said that it's not top of her wish list to go there. I think they'll be all right. I don't think they'll lose any sleep.
You mentioned your football fandom, and obviously your love is Burnley FC.
Glad we're coming on to this.
Yeah, got a podcast, and you've recently done some commentary for Burnley games on Radio Lancashire. Tell us about the experience of going to Old Trafford.
And I didn't go to Old Trafford in the end. I ended up in Swansea, which is not as glamorous, glamorous. But I do now have accreditation for Premier League and EFL games, which is really good. And it's really fortunate. I've been working in football media as a broadcaster for probably 15 years now. And it is nothing more than a side hustle. And I'm I'm very fortunate that doors open for me. I'm not an idiot. There's not many female, or there certainly hasn't been over the years. It's getting better now, but there's not many female anchors in football broadcasting, particularly at fan content level. So I've always been sort of out there as one of the ones that gets called first, particularly for operators that need to tick boxes. And I'm all right with that because sorry, my cat's decided to join us, because I will take that opportunity, but also there's a responsibility on me as well to take that opportunity and put female faces and exposure out there and for anybody else who wants to follow suit. I started life mainly as a blogger and as a podcaster. Well, it was mainly as a blogger to start off with. Then that moved into podcasting, where I was just an analyst on the show with the original No One Never team, and then I took over the brand probably 8 or 9 years ago, as full-time host and editor, and it's been mine since. It's a community-led podcast, and it's not behind a paywall, and it never will be while I'm at the helm. And it's we survive every single season, and it's something that I enjoy. It's a team of 9 now that sit with us at No One Ever, and from that, I think as I guess the digital world has increased and the world of the influencers has increased, I think sports broadcasters have recognised that they can no longer get away with just giving the big six airtime and nobody else matters. And then on top of that, they then recognise that if they need to give exposure to all of the 92, then they don't have anybody who knows anything about those. So they start working with content creators, and we're now paid for our time, which is like back in the day, the amount of work we had to do for free, and the broadcasters would just say, well, we're getting you on national TV, like that meant anything to us, like that's payment in kind. It's like, I don't care whether I'm on this radio station or whether I'm on this TV channel. It's like, this is my time and my time's valuable. So we do now get paid. I think if anybody came to us now and asked us to do something for free, you'd get I would refuse. And I think most of my peers and contacts within the world. And then I started to do more radio work. So my podcast is sponsored by Talk Sports. I do a lot of work with them. One of my absolute dreams is doing I love it when I get the breakfast show with Ali McCoy, because he's a national treasure who should be protected at all costs. They're my favourite. So whenever I've done my 2 favourite things, which are a bit pinch me moments. I've done the Monday Club with Chappers, which was amazing. Yeah, that was amazing.
Is that still on the iPlayer?
Yes, I'll send you the link. Yeah, I'll send you the link.
That'd be brilliant. I
love
that.
I did that. That was there was him, Chris Sutton. I can't remember the third one was, and myself. And then obviously the Ali McCoy's breakfast shows as well have always been really, really good. And then I work with the team at Radio Lancashire as well, and I have a column. A column with BBC Sport where I write weekly on Burnley FC. So I think, it feels like an overnight success, which is 15 years in the making. But it's something that I enjoy doing, and I bring a level of professionalism to it. And I like to give female content creators in the football world a voice where you can. I guess it comes with its challenges. Being a female anchor is both my kryptonite and my superpower. I think the superpower is that it opens doors, and you can get opportunities that maybe somebody else might be better at than you, but you maybe get an opportunity, and I think that's a reality, and I'm aware of that. So if I ever do get offered a gig that I think perhaps somebody else might have done this, I put so much effort into those jobs. I research, I practice, and I just make sure that if I'm doing that, then I'm doing the absolute best that I can. But it calls me my kryptonite as well. There are some people, men, who,
I was just about to say, I'm not sure about it in the social media age.
No, there are some men who will, and there's no point sugarcoating it. It is. There are some who will never ever accept a female talking about men's football, and you know what? They don't have to listen to me. It's as simple as that. You don't have to
you're,
send me
you're
abuse.
ramming it down our throats, Natalie. That's the trouble. You're ramming it down our throats.
Ramming it down your throats. It's like just you don't have to listen. You don't have to follow me. You don't have to listen. It's like I always find it very weird where like there's a particular Burnley message board. It's like one of the really old school message boards that you used to have, which was the only like pre-social media where everybody used to go on friends. Yes. So there is one, a Burnley one. And my goodness, if you could take every single angry man who hates me, even though they've never met me, they're all in that space. They're all in that space. And to the point where I never go on it. And I get really, I've had like my friends know better, but every now and again, somebody sends me a link where somebody else has started a message board about me. And I'm like, I don't want to read this. I don't care. Because it's very hard not to get inside your own head when you go onto these message boards and you've got people writing these things about you. And I'm like, you have never met me. You don't know who I am. And it's like, so yeah, it can be challenging. I get abuse all the time, and most of it just bounces off me. And it can range from the get back in the kitchen crap that I ignore, right up to over the past. There's been some serious threats that we've had to report. Some serious threats to me. We used to have before I took over as a host, when I was just an analyst back in the day, we used to have a thing called Patio Watch, because we used to get some crazies send some things through the podcast. And the idea was we'd keep a note of these names. And the idea being was that if I ever went missing, these are the patios that you look on the first. It was the only way. I know it sounds ridiculous, but it was the only way to distance yourself from this that was happening. So thankfully, I've not had to have any intervention with serious threats of violence.
I was looking up some stuff earlier when I was doing some research because I knew you were coming on, and I knew you do the Burnley podcast, and so I went on Twitter to have a look at that. And the first guy I found from Burnley, his bio just read "White Lives Matter," and I thought, no, I don't want to read this. I mean, and of course, it's hardly as if it's exclusive to Burnley. I mean, all football clubs have that element too.
They do. I mean, Burnley is getting better, but Burnley's had its challenges over the time. It's a working class town. It has pockets that is not as educated as it should be in terms of fairness and inclusion and diversity and acceptance and just the principles and the values that we want to live our lives with it. There is prejudice and there is hate in the town. I think I can speak freely on those because there are very well documented race riots and, banners being flown over the Etihad the last time we were in the Premier League and things like that. And it's, it does have that in it, but it is getting better. But again, it's not so if you had, I think, all of football clubs have got pockets of ignorance that needs to be ironed out. So it's definitely a challenge, but and this feels like a bit of a worthy answer, but I think just because it's cliched doesn't mean that it's not important. But some days I wake up and I'm just like, I just can't fight today. I haven't got it in me today to do this every single day. But I owe it to the Alex Scotts of the world who pushed through. Gosh, you think I get hate? That girl has had to be a shield for all of us for all of the years. So I owe it to her because she opened the door for me to do this. And I owe it to my 4-year-old niece who may want to do this in 10, 15 years' time. And that's what keeps you going. And you've just got to carry on. And you know what? I love it. I love football. I love talking about football.
Yeah, and
I love producing it.
Looking on the bright side, as you said at the beginning, at least you get the chance to do it, which 10 years, 20 years ago, you wouldn't have done.
Exactly.
So we're making baby steps.
I think we're making more than baby steps now. I think, I actually think this whole new rhetoric that's coming out of shoving it down our throats, which is the new word now, particularly when the Lionesses won the Euros again, and that idiot who I love that. I love that he's become a viral meme. I hope he does. That is now the voice of everybody, like, you stop ramming it down our throats. That new rhetoric, I think that's come about because we've made a lot more than baby steps. I think we're making a lot of noise, and I think we are we are now refusing to just be silenced. You know, the women's game is one of the, if not the fastest growing sport in the world right now, and that's now getting its own media offering that sits independently from, it's not relying on men's football anymore. It's got its own space, it's got its own place in the world. And there are enough now respected women who broadcast and commentate and offer opinion on men's football, because the only thing that you need to have is a pair of eyes and a brain to analyse it. It does, nothing else matters with men's football. That I think that's where the stop shoving it down our throats rhetoric has come from, because it's too much now for them. And they're losing that. They're losing the ability to stamp us down anymore, which is marvellous.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
right, can I ask a difficult question?
Go on.
Oh gosh, go on.
Are you staying up?
Burnley?
Yeah.
Oh God, no. No. That's not a difficult question. I was expecting that to be a really tricky one. I was like, oh my God, where's this going? That's some tricky questions so far. No, of course we're not. What are you, crazy?
Okay.
No.
I have some other
can't
questions
wait.
to
I
ask
love the
to follow on to that,
championship
but you've
season.
killed that dead now.
No, of course not. We'll be back down. We'll finish 20th, and then we get to have a fantastic chance. I hate the Premier League at the moment.
Yeah,
it's a miserable season.
I do get that. Yeah.
No, I love it. I love the Championship. It's great. I used to be a little bit snobby about, I think a lot of us were a bit snobby about the Yo-Yo Club tag, which I think is a little bit unfair to put that on Burnley right now, because I think people forget that we had 8 seasons out of 11 in the Premier League. It's like we've gone down and up twice, and now people are like, oh, you're Yo-Yo Club. It's like, yeah, come on.
It's not West Brom, is it?
I feel for Scott Parker, because I think this is the best side that he's been in the Premier League with. And he's just unfortunate that he happens to have come up with Leeds and Sunderland. I mean, I think any time in the last 3 or 4 years, Burnley would have had a chance under Scott Parker, because
I still think Leeds and Sunderland are going to go back down too.
You think the three will go down? Oh wow, that's a bit cool.
Happy for you to bookmark that, and we'll revisit this. But
okay,
it's so.
I think West Ham will go down.
No.
And
no.
Really?
No.
They look shocking at the moment.
Yeah, they do, but they are still better. Like you look at some of this, like Sunderland and Leeds. We keep getting this thrown at us a lot at the moment, saying like, oh, look how much better Leeds and Sunderland have done than Burnley. Yeah, have you seen who we've played so far in the 7 games that we've played? We've played United, Spurs, Liverpool, City, Aston Villa, Forest and Sunderland, and the 2 games we've got points on, we beat Sunderland at home, and actually we made Sunderland look profoundly ordinary at turf. They came to us, they couldn't get a kick. And Forest, who are nowhere near as bad as what people keep telling them that they are going to be.
I heard you say this on your podcast. I was listening to that in the week, and I think you're right. I think.
They are not as bad as people keep saying, and we got a point off them. And then we've played the other 5. If you look at the fixtures at Sunderland and Sunderland got to play West Ham the first game of the season away. We were away at Spurs. They were at home to West Ham, who were absolutely terrible. It's like they've got, so the fixtures have got to level out a little bit, the way they're going. But in my experience, in the Dyche years, when we, apart from this season where we went to the Europe, in the Dyche years where we were always just trying to stay 17th and survive every year, which we did for like 6 or 7 seasons straight, for 1 or more promoted sides to stay up, you need to have a relegation battle of about 5 or 6 teams. And it was around that time where you had Leeds, Southampton, Villa were struggling, Everton was struggling, Wolves were always down there. And then you had the 3, you had Sheffield United, you had Burnley, all of the variants of all of the different, and West Brom's, all of those kind of sides. Middlesbrough, when they were up there as well, when we went up, and Brighton, when all of those. And when you've got 5 or 6 teams, that's really important, because there's more points being taken off lots of different people. If you've got, which we've had in the last 2 to 3 years, just 3 at the bottom, they're not going to survive. And even this season, we've probably only got 3 or 4 that are realistic. West Ham are not going to go down. I think it's West
Ham and Wolves. I think I would throw
Wolves. Yes, Wolves, yes. West Ham, no. West Ham, no. They're too big a club. They've got too many deep pockets. They will strengthen where they need to do in January. They will get their managerial appointments
It'll be too
right.
late in January.
It won't. It won't, because the teams at they just need to be. Look at the season Frank Lampard got Everton to survive. They look like all when Leeds survived. You just need to survive by.
That's a very good point.
It's not like. Sunderland are right. Look at Ipswich. Sunderland to me are Ipswich of last year. Yes, they've spent better, but they still spent a lot of money on a brand new squad. Everybody was saying last year that Ipswich were going to stay up, Luton were going to stay up because they're really going for it. Sunderland, they're in their heyday at the moment because it's all new and it's shiny and they've had a couple of good results. Leeds, I'm not like Farkas, very similar to. Scott Parker can be a little bit too cautious, I think, sometimes as a manager. And I think when you start getting into the Christmas spells, you start getting into the winter months and you lose 2 or 3 games, it gets really, really tough. And my view is still that the 3 that go down. And if certainly as a bare minimum, 2 of the 3 will go down. It won't be Burnley, West Ham, Wolves. That's not what's going to happen. It will be Burnley and 1 of Sunderland. And I still think it'll be all 3. So we'll see. Watch this space.
Yeah, we'll note that down and we'll come back to you.
I will be in like the Dominican Republic under a hammock because I've said this on so many podcasts that when like Leeds and Sunderland stay up and it's Wolves and West Ham and Burnley, I will have disappeared. I'll be up on a rock somewhere going, nope, I don't remember saying that. I've disappeared.
Do you play fantasy football at all?
Yeah, I'm so bad at it. I am honestly. Hilarious. I mean, you guys.
I doubt you're as bad as I am, but yeah.
Well, I think one of the problems is that, as we talked about at the top of this show, I am time poor because I have too many things going on in my life.
Yeah,
and
like it.
I like playing FPL but I like it because I like the groups that I'm in and I like the banter that goes around. And one of the things that's kept me going with it is the new head-to-head league, which has been around for about 3 or 4 years now. Because I'm never going to be in the big leagues. I'm never going to go anywhere. I'm going to be at the bottom. Whereas on the head-to-head, every week you can just like beat somebody by a point, and I think that's a really great format. Yeah. So I really love the banter in those, but I just don't have time. It's like people listen to podcasts about it and listen to shows and study it.
I've been playing. I can't remember when it first launched. Before it was online, when you used to do it in the newspapers and that. So 25 years at least. And I've never won one of the private leagues. I finished second once in 25 years. I finished second. And so this year I thought, sod it, I'm going to do something different. I started listening to some of the podcasts, but because they're doing all the work for me, and the same as you, I don't have the time. I've got kids at homeschool, and I don't have time to do it. So I just bung on a podcast a couple of times a week, and someone else has done all the work for me. So
I don't even do that.
If it does work out this year, it's not because I've got any better. It's because someone's telling me what to do.
some kind of bogus thing. Yeah, no, it's. I mean, I love it and I love the idea of it, but I'm really, really bad at it. I think an absolutely hilarious thing. Lee Wiltshire, who obviously is a friend of all of us, he sent me a message. He's brilliant. Like when he knows I'm really, really busy, he will send me he'll look at my team and he'll send me a few pointers and say, maybe think about this just to try and help. I'm like, thanks, done. I've gone. And he bless him. He genuinely didn't mean this to be such shade that it was. But I fell off my chair. He said, it's really funny. He said, because of sort of out of everybody in our league, he said, you're perhaps the most well connected of all of us in terms of football knowledge and access to information. He said, like, you think you'd be able to like use that to your advantage in FPL? I was like, wow. And he was genuinely one of the most hilarious. I was really going, I mean, he has a point. I can't find the lie. But yeah, that pretty much sums up my relationship with FPL in that, nope, I'm not very good. Not very good, I'm afraid.
Oh, it's not just me then. I'm glad about that.
Oh, I will be worse than you 100%. To put it into context, I haven't checked my team. I think I've still got Cole Palmer in my side because I forgot to sub him out. And I think I might still have Joward Bowen as my captain. This is how bad things are going.
Right. Okay.
So I think, let me just have a quick look.
I think that's the other thing with it as well, is you do have to be on top of all the injuries
and
the
exactly.
transfers and who's, in favour and out of favour. And it is,
I have 3 Burnley players in my side.
Well, that's not going to work out well. Actually, who's your the striker? What's his name? He's doing
Foster.
very. No,
Clive
or
Foster?
maybe no. There's a guy at Burnley who's getting lots of points at the moment. Josh, someone?
Oh, Josh Cullen. Yeah, the midfielder. Yeah, he's really good. Yeah, I really like. He's really good. It's I probably will maybe maybe I'll use this international break. Maybe I'll use one of those magic bean things, them chip things. I don't know what they do.
Yeah.
And there must be one of those where I can just wipe my team and start again.
Do you know what? I think you might be worse than me because even I know what the magic bean things do.
one of those magic bean things. Maybe I'll use one of them and just wipe my team and start again. And then
they're very useful. I usually use those in the second week, but
I think in the second week that was when I'd changed my team because I think the first team just went. The first game week 1 was whatever I'd auto selected to because I forgot to do it by the deadline. I
did that last year. I knew it was happening. We have the same group every year, and my mate forgot to remind me, and of course I forgot. And so we were 2 weeks in, and Haaland had already scored 2 hat-tricks, and everyone had captained him. So I was already 250 points behind everyone in the third week, so I gave up.
I don't have Haaland in it. I don't have Haaland. I think there was one. Oh no, maybe I didn't. Maybe I didn't auto-select. I think maybe about an hour before the deadline of game week 1, I did do a few tweaks and I got something done. And then after the deadline is shut, when they opened up the app again and everybody could see each other's teams, I think somebody put in our group like some interesting captain choices. And I literally just had this feeling. I went, oh, captain. Didn't even think about captain. And I think I don't even know. I had some random defender as my captain and everyone's like, Natalie, that's not even, that's every single season. What are you doing? I was like, I forgot that I had to captain somebody. And I was just like, I give up. So yeah, game week 1 started as the season meant to follow. It's terrible, right? Terrible. Oh well, never mind.
So Dom, you starting to capture some more names for the tournament coming up. Have you got any more names?
Oh, what for our APAT of poker names?
Yes.
Yeah. Hang on, I made some notes.
What is this?
So
tell me.
You explain, Chris. Go on, you explain.
Jamie Walden in the summer created the World Series of Poker best poker names. So it was names that he came across. So we're digging a little bit deeper and like some lesser known names that we're bringing together, so to be amateur poker names. So I nominated one player last week who I came across at the APAC Worlds in August, a fella from Norway called Lars Hall. So
Lars Hall.
Yeah. So that's the first nomination into the process, and we found a couple more names this week, Dom.
Yeah, we have. I got in touch with Jamie actually because it's this was his thing, and I didn't want to step on his toes. So I said to him we'd lay off all the World Series players because I think he's planning on doing it next year. I want to give him as big a field of players as possible. He got straight back to me. He said, "Yeah, that's brilliant. That's absolutely fine." So went ahead with it. I'm going to get back in touch with him once we've got 32 and see if he'll come and do the draw with us because that'd be a nice thing to have him to come and do that. But yeah, so we had an APAC player, Akil Butt. He was our first one, and then I got sent another one. By a listener, a certain Christopher Bean sent me one. I don't know if you've met him.
Name rings well.
Have you got the picture from the Send Him Off profile?
Oh, I have not. I forgot to take the screen grab of it.
Okay. Right. Well, his name is fucking Beg. So he's my he's my early favourite. So I'm just going to hold it. I printed off the ones we've got so far. I'm going to hold them up for the camera for now. So we've got.
So
Lars Hole, Rich Tongue, Matt Leather, Zygmantus Jockus, Akil Butt, and fucking Beg. Okay,
so
Akil Butt's my brother.
Anything
that's got the word "butt" in it makes me laugh.
we're 6 in. We need 32, and then by then, hopefully, we'll have a slightly bigger audience. We're going to put it to the audience vote. We're going to play them off in quarterfinal, semi-final, whatever. then we'll have our finalists. And as I say, hopefully at some time Jamie Walden can join us. But yeah, they're shaping up nicely. I'm enjoying it. Hopefully we'll find a couple more in Birmingham.
Yeah, like we'll break all GDPR rules and I'll go through the tablets of all the players' names and
La la la.
I'm talking to a lawyer. Sorry.
You silly man. You silly man.
So just before we go this week, Natalie, we asked all our guests if they had any travel horror stories recently. Have you got any to share?
Travel horror, poker related or just generally?
Poker related, generally. I heard you had like a train cancellation on the way to Vegas the other week.
Oh yeah, that was fun. That was just me being panicky because I'm not a good flyer.
Yeah.
I think I've been quite lucky in that I'm a really nervous flyer. I don't like flying at all. So, but I seem to have had relatively straightforward, what's it called? Straightforward travel. I think probably from a plane perspective, when I was flying to that poker tournament in Austria, ironically, it was too snowy to land. So we got diverted to Munich, but that ended up actually not being a disaster because we got to spend the day in Munich, which was great, and got the train across. I think probably the biggest headache I've had, I went on holiday to Cuba, I think, a few years ago, and got caught in a hurricane. Genuinely, on my first full day. It was bizarre because we'd been sunbathing all day on the beach. It was beautiful Caribbean weather. Then people were talking about this hurricane. I was like, what are you talking about? There's no cloud in the sky. And then gradually by about 4 o'clock, it started to get more and more overcast and this wind started going. And it was serious enough to the extent where we got told to go into the main restaurant for 6 p.m. And it wasn't the usual buffet. It was like, eat now and take all these things. And we got quarantined in our rooms, and we had on the corridor, everybody like the hurricane squads were coming to our room, and they had like the big high vis things on. They had oxygen masks and all sorts behind them, and there was like things being like packs being put under the door and telling us we've got to put duvets next to the mirror and things like that. And we were in the direct hit of the hurricane.
That's pretty bad.
Yeah, that was pretty bad. And we got quarantined until 12 o'clock the day after. They're like the hurricane squad brought food to our rooms and put it outside the door so we could get it, and then they let us out at 12, and there was quite a decent bit of damage to the hotel. I mean, the hotel were great, but then after the hurricane had passed, it was like 38-40 degrees for the rest of the holiday. It was amazing. And I literally just sat up all night watching CNN or something on the American channels and just watching their coverage of this, and I was like trying to look out the mirror. My other half slept through the entire thing. Literally slept. He literally slept through a hurricane. And he woke up in the morning. It was like, my jet lag's really helped. I was like, I've not been to bed all night. And anyway, as it turned out, by the time it hit us direct on, it had just gone down to tropical storm. But it did do quite a bit of damage for the hotel. So I think that's probably the scariest I've been on holiday, because to get quarantined in your room. But other than that, touch wood, I've been relatively.
Well, I see his hurricane, and there is it. I slept through an earthquake once, so. Yeah.
How? What category of earthquake?
If you ever share a room with Chris, you'll realise how. I mean, this man sleeps for England. I thought I was a heavy sleeper, but he causes hurricanes when he sleeps.
What category of hurricane was it, Chris?
So it was an earthquake. I think it was.
That was my fault.
I think it was like a 4.8, so it was a decent sized one. So.
You slept through a hurricane? What is wrong with you, Matt?
Yeah.
Well, you slept through the hurricane.
So, and I've also slept through 2 fire evacuations when I was at university as well. So, yeah, like when I'm asleep, I'm asleep. Like it takes a more than a shot.
Don't have to live on your own, Chris.
No.
Terrible.
Like I was telling David Lappin about this in Vegas a few years ago, and he went, "Oh my God, sounds like you got sleep apnea. You're gonna die." And like, then I couldn't sleep for months after.
Yeah, that sounds like laughing. So, all right, calm down.
In Lappin's defence, as I said, I've shared rooms with Chris, and he does sound like he's got sleep apnea. To be fair to Lappin, so.
Yeah. So, if anyone wants to sponsor me a CPAP machine, I'll be gladly accept it. So,
Oh, I love it. I love it.
Okay,
Good
so
stuff.
we've been going for over an hour and 10 minutes now, so I think we better wrap things up.
Yeah, so I mean, we've the two guests we've had on previously, Chris. I think you'd agree we've had to coax some stuff out of them. I think it's fair to say we haven't had to coax too much out of Natalie.
Yeah, anybody who's ever met me, like, we could do another hour and I'd still be going. Like, this is not an issue. Though I always run on too far because I can talk. I'm sorry.
Well, no, it's great because that means there's 3 or 4 things that we were going to cover this week that we haven't needed to, and we're going to be in Birmingham, so that's going to help us out. That's going to make it easier to put the show together to next week. I did want to mention on the travel horror stories front, we briefly last week, Chris, talked about tables being flipped over.
Oh yes.
And our fellow reporter, good friend Lefty, has been in touch, and he's left me a voice message about that famous incident. So we will try and get that in next week's show because that is well worth hearing.
Well, I think we'll be in Birmingham still next week, so maybe we'll be recording Monday. We'll see what happens. But we may not be back next week, but we'll definitely be back in 2 weeks. But yeah, if anyone's coming down to Birmingham, come and give me and Dom a shout. We'll be happy to have a chat with you, and obviously Natalie will be there, and rest of the
Christopher Carlin will be there as well from our first episode. He'll be there as well. So anyone that has been watching this, if you are there, come and say hello.
Yeah. So